bomb. A summary. It's 1938 and everything's a chaos because, well, apparently this guy decided like, hey, I just lithium uranium atoms, and he's all like, yay, yay. Wait, did I make a mistake? Redo. In theory, I can make a chain reaction in which we can do anything, even a bomb. Wait, what? And other physicists find out about this, and they're all like, we can create a bomb. They told the U.S. government, and the U.S. government like, if we don't create a bomb right now, our enemies will try to nuke us. So we're gonna create it. Also, the other guys are thinking the same thing. So technically, if they both didn't think that, they're all like, let's not create a bomb because we're not mad people. Then they probably wouldn't have, because they thought each other of them were mad people. The next thing that seems to happen is this: the Nazis already were working on the bomb, and so they're all like, yikes, we're gonna need to do everything we can because they just stopped their uranium exports. Now we're gonna have to get every uranium we have and create bombs out of them. Not exactly every uranium they have, so uranium bomb, they decided. And then they found out about an element called plutonium, which was easier to create and could also be done with a chain reaction. And they were all like, nice, create the plutonium bomb too. Of course, they needed physicists, and all the physicists were scattered around the country, so they needed to put them all in one little place that they decided to call Los Alamos. And who was in charge? A general can be in charge, but these are a bunch of physicists. How is a general gonna know some science? By the general, I'm talking about Leslie Groves, of course. So he went ahead and put up a guy named Robert Oppenheimer, who apparently didn't have security clearance just because he had friends and had communist connections. They're all like, communist, he's a communist, meaning he's Russian. But he was born in America. Well, he's a Russian spy. Where's your proof? Lots of spies get away without proof. Haven't you realized that? Well, why did you go there? Why did you go there? Why did she go there? Why did she go there? And she's all like, the next day she's suicided. What do you think? Well, that happened during the Manhattan Project, of course. But Robert Oppenheimer went ahead and he recruited one of the brightest minds of all time. The Chicago team, well, this is just called the Chicago Pile team. Enrico Fermi, one of the guys who literally found out about the first chain reaction. He was the one who first created it. The Gunnerside team, a guy named Klaus Fuchs, Richard Feynman, the big boy, Richard Feynman, Theodore Ted Hall, who's also a Russian spy, Weiss and Heisenberg is just the leader of the German program, and Robert Serber, and so many more. In fact, all the best citizens were there, and they could go to each other's houses and talk freely. They didn't need phone communications because they could all be tapped by the Germans or Russians or even the British. But they didn't really worry about the British because they were allies, and they were very close allies. They were more close than the Germans and Russians, of course. That is one thing. And finally, they started creating the bomb. Of course, they needed to know how the bomb would work. They went ahead and started creating chain reactions and experiments just so that they can know how they could create the bomb and what they should do. And of course, cadmium rods could be used to absorb the neutrons, so that would stop the chain reaction. That happens, and well, and then lots of crackpots are coming, and Feynman starts trying to crack safes just because he's starting to get bored. Before that, he tried to get his family to send messages to him in code that not even he understood, so he had to crack it. He had fun doing that. But the American censors did not, and so they were like, could you please stop that? Can I just... No? Is that a no? Can I say no? No, you have to say yes. And he was all like, fine! And he went ahead and decided to do something. Also, he put in a little bit of a code in there, where if you put a little dot in the signature, that meant that he was in trouble, and if there was no dot, that meant he was in good trouble. Of course, most of the time, he had a dot because he started cracking safes a lot. In fact, one of the first things he did, if he needed a file and the guy who needed it from wasn't there, he'd just go unlock his cabinet file by just, doing the old Feynman unlocking method, and then take the file out, and then when he was over, return it to them. And they'd be all like, where'd you get my file? from your cabinet, but I locked it. I know, the locks are no good. And of course, he would probably be the head of security if it wasn't for the fact that he was the physicist. Although he did tell some people to change their battle plans, their places and plans of how they could create the uranium plant. And finally, one day, the bomb was ready. Gross is all like, do not test the uranium bomb. All that uranium cannot be wasted on a test. However, the plutonium bomb, don't you dare even test that. Well, we need a test. First of all, it's easier to create, so we can test that. Second of all, we already have enough plutonium to create 2 bombs. One has to be tested, or else, because this design here is more unstable than the one for the uranium bomb. If we throw one onto Japan and it doesn't explode, then they'll know the technology about it, and boom! They'll have an A-bomb. Fine, test it. So they did. It works! And when it's in cold, when it's at room temperature, that is, if it's too hot, then it'll just expand and it won't fit. The next thing that happened is that they threw it on the Japanese. The Japanese didn't surrender yet. It was in Hiroshima. Then Nagasaki. Finally, they surrendered. Finally, the world was at peace. And of course, the Cold War started. The Russians finally realized, wait, we can use our spies. Spies gives all the information you gathered during World War II. Create the A-bomb people with these information. They had enough uranium, so they created an exact copy of Little Boy, which is the name that they codenamed the uranium bomb that was thrown on Nagasaki. Or where's the Hiroshima. Now the US is like, how did they create an A-bomb? They don't even have the information needed yet. I'm pretty sure the KGB had them. Here are all the cards that Russians sent to Moscow. Oh my gosh, it's in code. A few years later, we cracked the code. Start decoding code. And they're all like, oh. Gather all these people. And only one person was the one who got away. A guy named Ted Hall. Oh my gosh. Right here. He's the only one who actually got away from the spying. Because he planned a story years ahead before this thing happened. Oh yeah, also he told his girlfriend about the story so that she wouldn't abandon him. And that's basically the end of Bob. Oh yeah, Oppenheimer's got his security clearance taken away because he was a communist, and everyone is all like, okay, let him have a fair trial. And they're all like, let's not give him a fair trial. Tap into what he's saying with his attorney. And they got illegally obtained information. And they use that against him. And they're all like, how do they know? How do they know? They're not doing illegal things, are they? And finally, Oppenheimer, a loyal American, died of cancer. He lived the rest of his life as a physicist and retiring. And that's it. That's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Hunter and Sean. And I will see you in the next episode. But before you go, one thing that actually made me ponder here is, why would anyone create an A-bomb? They knew the mass destruction it could create. And they knew it was World War. But why? If you nuked everyone enough, everyone wouldn't exist. So think about that the next time you're reading Bomb or World War II story. Hope to see you guys soon. Until next time, Schneider out. Peace. Really though, peace.